So we may not be live right now.
Okay.
We don't
really know.
really know.
But if we are,
then hi.
welcome everyone.
So
I had a friend of mine do her gender reveal
on a Facebook Live?
Facebook Live.
That's so fun.
It was so smart.
That is, and then everyone got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of being there, hi guys, we're up.
Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Becker with Whosay. Thank you all for joining us, and I'm sitting here with the amazingly talented Krysta Rodriguez. NBC has a new murder mystery whodunit premiering tonight. When you hear that, you probably think dramatic crime procedural. You would be very, very wrong. This is a comedy.
Yes. It's a big-time comedy. It's a goofy comedy.
So tell me all about the premise of Trial and Error.
Okay, so like you said, it's a little bit as Parks and Rec meets Making a Murderer. So I like to describe it as one of the foundations of Parks and Rec or The Office is that the people that were working there were not great at their jobs. And so imagine if the team that's trying to acquit somebody of a possible murder charge is just bad at their jobs. We're not talking Boston Legal. We're not talking like Law and Order. We're talking East Peck, South Carolina, and that's where our show takes place. So,
and it's shot sort of in the same vein.
It's that documentary style.
In that sort of documentary style. You have an amazing cast.
Unbelievable.
The story focuses around John Lithgow's character, and it's his wife that he supposedly
allegedly he's on trial for
murdering.
Yes, and I am his adopted daughter, who he adopted long before he was married to this woman. So she's not my mother, but he is my father, for all intents and purposes, and I just absolutely believe he's innocent. There is no way he could do it. And so I'm sort of that voice in that, and everyone else in the town is just like on a witch hunt to try to get him convicted, especially Jayma Mays from Glee plays the DA who wants to be the first woman district attorney in East Peck, South Carolina, and so she needs a death penalty sentence. So she is fighting for the death penalty. Death by bear is still on the books in East Peck.
Death by bear?
Mm-hmm. Death by bear. So that's the kind of town we're dealing with. So poor Larry Henderson might die by being mauled by a bear. You'll have to tune in to find out. And
John Lithgow's character is a very sort of eccentric.
He's an eccentric poetry professor.
But in a good way.
Yes, in like a loving way.
Unless it's a murdery way, maybe not.
Well, you don't know. That's where you're going the whole time. John is the perfect person to play this part because we all know him like Third Rock from the Sun, where he's so goofy and so crazy. And
then we saw him as a murderer in
the Trinity Killer. So you're watching the whole time being like, I know he's a lovable, nice guy, but I also know he's murdered people. So he's like you have no idea per minute, and he's eccentric and he's kind of sweet and lovable. Yet he's always saying something that puts his foot in his mouth or puts him in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's just a hopeless person, or he's a super guilty murderer.
And the way the show is set up, I from what I understand, each episode kind of ends us on one of those cliffhangers.
It's a total cliffhanger,
and you really don't know.
No.
Do you, as an actor, know who did it?
We did not know. I know now.
But throughout the
whole season, we did not know. And only John knew if he was guilty or innocent. And then the rest of us had to just like completely play our motives, completely play our beliefs, and also sort of maybe our questioning, because we would get the scripts and just flip through them to the end. Like, oh my gosh, what new evidence did they come up with? What twists and turns? And that's, I think, the successful thing about the show is that, it's funny, but it's a really good murder mystery. I mean, it really is. Like, it's taking twists and turns you would never imagine, and everyone's a suspect. And
were there times where you thought your character Summer did it?
Yeah.
And then I imagine you probably were able to point the finger at everyone else as you read through.
We were able to point the finger at everyone else, but I was pretty certain I did it, and maybe I did. We don't really know.
I love a good tease there. It seems like this is the year of. The last year or two of these sort of true crime, a very big resurgence.
Right.
We've seen it in documentary style, we've seen it in dramas, and now we're seeing it in comedy. I feel like it was only a matter of time before we allowed some levity to be sort of brought into this issue.
Well, and it's such an odd thing. We are really enamored by it in a way, and so we might as well try to make people, and that's the great thing about setting it in such a crazy town. It takes the onus off having to talk about a murder and more about the craziness that comes with people just screwing up at every turn. And that's,
The cast is amazing. We didn't even mention Sherry Shepherd is in this, but you have a lot of interaction because John plays your stepdad or your dad. How is working with him?
He's amazing. It's so fun. And, you know, him and Sherry and Stephen Boyer, who's also, this is his first kind of big thing, and he's a Broadway guy, Tony nominated, and I'm a Broadway girl. So, and John's a Broadway guy, and Sherry's been on Broadway. So we kind of came in with this mentality of, that's a little bit different from TV, which is like we're all in a cast together, like putting something on together rather than shoot my scene, go to my trailer. Like it was a much more community feeling. And John, that starts with the head. Like he is the lead, and he is also the sweetest man, the hardest worker, so talented, so nimble, so like able to show these sweet parts and then these sort of creepy parts, and completely understands his character with no questions and just jumps right into it. And I just loved working with him. I've just been so lucky. It's been a dream. And I was the last cast member to join. So I saw all of these people on the in the email saying, look at who's attached to the show. And I was like,
pressure is on.
I have to be in this. And then here I am.
People are, of course, familiar with you from Smash. And as you just listed all of these people with Broadway backgrounds, and of course we all know and love Jay Mamise in Glee. Are we going to get a musical number?
I don't know. I will say that...
Because if there's any cast that can do it...
It is. And I'll tell you that we had karaoke at both of our wrap parties, when we wrapped the pilot and we wrapped the series, and we killed it.
What was your karaoke song?
Stephen and I did Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors. And Sherry can do Proud Mary like you have never seen. And Nick plays the air bass, which is really great. So we did the...
I do the air shaky.
The air shake. That's a good one. That's funny.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I always go for the air shaky.
But Nick he'll strap on the bass, and he's got the whole thing going on. So we did the Golden Girls theme song. We're really serious. We take it really seriously over there. And... yeah, we had a great time. So there isn't any karaoke scenes in East Peck yet, but
hopefully there will be.
It could happen.
Seems like it's of the time. I mean, if we're talking about a little bit of the time with these sort of true crime murder mysteries, it seems like musicals are having a little bit of a resurgence.
Absolutely.
I mean, of course there was Glee and Smash, but Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and of course La La Land.
Yeah,
lest we forget.
Yeah.
This little...
Everyone in Hollywood's like, musicals? And we're like, yeah,
What
we've
are
been doing them in New
those?
York for decades, centuries even.
It's kind of nice for a theater. I'm a New Yorker. I'm from Jersey. I grew up in New York. It has to be nice for a theater actor to watch sort of what it is that you know and love that is so compacted in such a small community in New York to be embraced so widely. I mean, gone are the days where it was, Sound of Music, Oklahoma, Carousel, all those ones that had those huge South Pacific movie musicals, and that kind of died down. And now it feels like it's resurging in a really smart and fun way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like it went from, a musical kind of set the standard of pop music and, of movies. They would make movies from the musical, and then we went through this period of time where we're making musicals out of the movies. So if it was a hit movie, we're getting the rights and making the musical. So now I think we're kind of contributing again to our own original stuff, which is exciting.
As if you weren't busy enough with Trial and Error premiering tonight, it was announced that you're going to be joining Quantico.
Yeah.
It's really
exciting.
We're still in the realm of crime.
Yes.
Very different kinds of crime.
Totally different kind of crime. And I play, I've already done a couple episodes. It's been really fun. Hunter Parrish, who is, you might know him from Weeds and being topless on Weeds, gets topless on Quantico with me. I play his fiance, and I'm like a very well-connected, high-powered Washington exec, and he's in the CIA, and we are going to maybe try to save the world together. So it's really fun. I love doing that.
What is it like going from something that's kind of zany, funny comedy to doing something that's very sexy and serious?
Again, Hunter is a Broadway guy, and we... He was twice. He played Jesus in Godspell, and he was in Spring Awakening.
And
he plays Jonathan Groff.
I remember all that. Yes.
So he and I just
remember
have
all
a great
these posters
time.
on the subway.
Yeah, right? We just have a great time together, and so it doesn't really matter. The genre is just about the relationship, and if he and I have a good relationship and our characters have a good relationship, we don't know that we're in a drama or a comedy. We're in life, and the stakes of being in a murder in the comedy are also very high, just as high as thwarting a terrorist attempt, through the CIA. So that sort of stays similar. But if your relationship to reality and the people that you're working with is good, then it doesn't require too much change.
Was it challenging for you to transition from doing mostly Broadway and theater to doing television? Because it's a different beast.
It is a different beast. It totally is. It was less challenging because my first big thing on television was Smash, which was musicals. So
talk about a way to ease you into it.
It was just like getting in the kiddie pool of television, you know? And so that was really fun, and it's something I knew how to do. But now, you know, I like them both equally for their own merits, which is, you know, just the different things about it. But with theater, I love that I get to kind of be in charge of the character from start to finish, whereas in television, you sort of like give some options of the character and then it gets edited into whatever you see. And so you're like, oh, that's a different take of what I did, you know? So that part's a little always disorienting, but it also takes the onus off having to kind of, you know, jam a character down a path. So
anyone who follows you on social media, of course, knows you from all of these projects that you've done, but a project that I imagine is very close to your heart is Chemo Couture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you embrace that? It seems like a situation like being diagnosed, especially so young, with breast cancer would knock so many people down, and you owned it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting because people would say, like, I can't believe you're doing all this, and I don't think I was doing anything different than anybody else. I don't know anybody that if they were going to be diagnosed with this would be like, well, I guess it got me. You know? Like, everyone is going to be like, what can I do?
Nobody throws their hands up necessarily.
So, and especially as we're getting younger and younger and the diagnoses are getting younger, there's so much life to be had on the other side of this. And so you have to find a way to make it a blip on the radar, or even separately than that, a major event that changes the course of your life for the better, you know? So the bad parts being the blip and the good parts being, you know, the great thing. So I knew you know, being an actor, you have to care for your appearance and all of that. And so when the diagnosis happened, I knew it was going to kind of hit me in all the areas that were very vulnerable, and so I wanted to turn something ugly or scary or weird or disconcerting into something beautiful as best I could. So I started the fashion blog Chemo Couture, which would sort of help. I was like, help myself and just show pictures of me in wigs, and also maybe if someone else is going through chemo. But then it reached so many more people than I expected, and I still get people saying, you know, my mom was just diagnosed, my sister, my aunt, and I sent them to your website, and it means a lot, and they helped me through it immensely, and just sort of, you know, it's really inspiring to be involved in something that people are rooting for you on. And you know, in this day and age, everyone would rather be snarky about something than be supportive sometimes. And so to have something that everyone could get on board with and cheer me on, and I could cheer them on and help each other, was really free of cynicism, and it was a beautiful sort of period of my life in a weird way.
And it seems like being in that sort of headspace, it is so critical to your health and to the health of other people to be positive. One of my best friends was diagnosed with melanoma. He's fine. Mm-hmm. And I remember him going through it and with us together, and it was very much like smiles, positive. Yep. I need to be in that positive place. Yep. And it's hard to get when your caregivers are going through it with you. So to have a community be able to sort of build each other up, I imagine helps in the healing process.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And also being public with it, you know, is sometimes therapeutic, because holding in all of that is also not good for you either. You know, I wanted to be private in the beginning, and then realized, like, you know, this doesn't feel like privacy, this feels like lying now. And that's one thing you learn, like, don't keep that in anymore, like, put it all out there. So I got super personal and super transparent with my life, and you know, it was scary, but I think it was the right decision for me, at least.
And on the other side of that, I imagine your confidence level when you go into things like auditions and stuff has to be so different now. It's like, if I can do this, I can do anything.
Right.
Like, let's just see what I got.
Let's see what I got. Yeah. You know, it's so true. You start to realize, sort of, it's cliche, but what's important. But you don't realize that you're realizing it. All of a sudden, you're just doing it, and you feel like, I don't really want to worry about that anymore, and it just sort of falls away. I expected to sort of like wake up with like lights shining and angels singing and being like, you're a better person now, and like it doesn't work that way, you know. Still working on it. I still get worried about stuff that doesn't matter. I still like stress about auditions or stress about, you know, all the side effects of what I went through still, that I'm still dealing with, that I will deal with. And but the more I can just still talk about it and work through it and write about it and meet people who are also going through it, we're just all going to figure it out together.
And you have so many positive, exciting things to focus on, like premiere night.
Like premiere night tonight. We shot the pilot a year ago.
Like little glimmers of singing. I'm like, oh, do more, please. So you shot the pilot a year ago?
A year ago.
You've been waiting on this for a while.
Yes, I mean, we finished shooting the series in December, so even that feels like a long time. But from the pilot to now, you'll notice that my hair is much shorter. I was still growing it out from being bald, so it's like this short. So I'm like, this is what can happen in a year, guys. But yeah, so it's really exciting. I can't believe it's actually happening. And I've also seen the first 2 episodes, which are coming out tonight. So I'm actually kind of more excited for next week when I get to see something that I haven't seen yet.
What's your premiere plan? Is the cast getting together?
We're having a
big party? Are you going to live tweet?
I'm going to live tweet. I'm terrible at it. I'm such an old biddy. Like, I think I like write stuff no one really cares about. But we're going to do it, you know, get me out of the comfort zone, maybe some Insta stories. But yeah, we're getting together. Our producers are throwing us a party. We also, on top of just like having such a good time shooting the show, really honestly love each other. Whenever we see each other at press events, when we haven't seen each other for a while, we're screaming, we're hugging, we're jumping up and down. Like, we're really ridiculous. We're those people. And it's, so I'm really excited to see everyone tonight. Maybe some more karaoke. And watch a show and just celebrate what we've done.
We'll be watching along with you. Oh, do we have questions?
A couple comments.
Yeah. Comments.
Okay. I was just about to wrap it up, so I'm glad we did this. Okay. Mm-hmm. We've got Krysta saying lots.
Oh,
Krysta,
Haley, hi,
Haley.
Haley.
You know Haley. You look gorgeous. Haley says she's so glad you're back on NBC. Mm-hmm. Lots of queens, and you slay queen. There's a lot of love going on in this comment section. So will you guys all be tuning in tonight? And of course, get this one to up her Twitter game. Give her some Twitter love so that she doesn't feel embarrassed to be live tweeting.
Yeah, tweet like nice things about the show, and then I'll retweet them, and then that makes my job easier, and you get to, you know, give love to the show.
Emily, Haley, Isabel, I'm looking at you. I'll be looking for those retweets tonight. Okay. Congratulations on the show. Thanks. Trial and Error out on NBC, premieres tonight. So tune in and let us know what you think. Krysta, thank you so much.
Thank you.